Welcome to the Metaverse. I'm Steve Fernandez with Market Insights. You're watching this video, so you're already 1 foot into the Metaverse and you may not even realize it. Metaverse was a huge topic with investors in late 2021, especially stocks or companies that claim to have exposure to the Metaverse, or they were claiming to, in the future they would have exposure to the Metaverse. Well, their stock prices soared, and if you've been paying attention, you've seen that has reversed course, and a lot of these stocks are down tremendously from their highs. So I want to talk about the Metaverse. Is there any legitimacy there? Was it all smoke and mirrors? What is the Metaverse, and should we expect to see a resemblance of a Metaverse in the coming years? So before we get started, subscribe to our channel. We provide pretty good content. I'd like to think so. And if you like the video, hit the like button. It helps us grow our channel to a bigger audience and hopefully help people out. So what is the Metaverse? I'd like to think of it more as a cyberspace, right? Not a fancy word like the Metaverse, but some people kind of thought of the Metaverse as a technology, when in reality, it's just a immersion of our physical world into a digital world. And this is being created not just by one technology. This is being created by development of several technologies. So think artificial intelligence, the use of machine learning. You have 5G speeds and connectivity that are making things work extremely efficiently. Virtual reality, so taking experiences, computing, and putting that on a 3D platform. All these things working together can shape what I hear to be the Metaverse, what I believe to be the Metaverse. And those are all technologies that will continue developing, whether there's a quote unquote Metaverse or not. Before we get further into that idea, let's take a look at these stocks. In this chart, these are more pure play companies that I identified that you can consider quote unquote Metaverse stocks, if you will. Matterport, they develop property software where it allows you to take tours of buildings in a 3D fashion. Unity software allows game developers to create games on its platform and scale that across different gaming platforms and the mobile devices, etc. And some of that is virtual reality games. Roblox, another gaming social platform catering to pre-teens, late, whatever you would call them, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. In that demographic. And their game developers can also create games, and the users can collaborate with themselves and play games on that platform. Also, Vuzix Corp, they develop virtual reality technology. Some of it is actually being used in an industrial setting, like the medical setting. So interesting one there as well. And Roundhill Ball Metaverse. This is just an ETF that has exposure, holds companies that are somehow related to the quote unquote Metaverse. So I'm not suggesting you buy any of these companies. These are just pure play stocks that I identified, that can give you exposure to the Metaverse idea. So the narrative behind the Metaverse, and probably because the stock prices have gone down here, has changed a lot. We saw it on the news or financial media every day about how the Metaverse was the next big thing. It was the next internet, etc. But price drives narrative. And because these stocks have withered away, we don't really hear about it as much. So has some people thinking that it's not a legitimate thing, right? But rather than look at prices on these stocks, I like to look at what companies are doing. Where is the money going? What is management saying about their future plans? And in this case, I've found a pretty clear trend. Although the stock prices have gone down, the Metaverse mentions or focus by company executives has been pretty high, and that's continued even with the declining share price. So you can see in Q4 2021, Q1 2022, and Q2 2022, a relatively large amount of Metaverse mentions by company executives. This was in prepared remarks or answers to analyst questions. And this was in earnings calls and conference calls. So I got that data from Bloomberg, but you can see that the trend is still strong there, even though it's pulled back a little bit, in part to that narrative drying up that I mentioned. Now, what are companies doing to build a Metaverse? Where are they putting their money? Well, let's start from the top. Microsoft, and you can consider this acquisition as you will, but I consider it as a step to build out. Part of this would be their Metaverse platform. they're looking to acquire Activision Blizzard. This is for 69 billion, right? A huge sum of money. And this is getting some pushback from regulators, right? So we don't know that this is going to go through entirely. But if it does, I expect that they're going to build up their Game Pass technology, which is a subscription gaming service. And we could see that evolve into, more of a metaverse 3D platform, if you will. So pretty interesting to see. 69 billion for the acquisition. By the end of 2021, over $10 billion in venture capital went towards metaverse related companies. And you even have new VC investment popping up now. You have venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, who's a pretty renowned VC investor, launched a $600 million metaverse fund. And they're a publicly traded company that you could invest in. A little disclosure, I do own a small position in it. Galaxy Digital, symbol BRPHF, they have set aside a $300 million venture fund dedicated to metaverse companies. So you can see that there's a lot of venture funding and even public company funding and investment for metaverse companies, or metaverse ideas, if you will. Everyone knows about Meta Platforms, aka the new version of Facebook, symbol META. They created a social VR platform called Horizon. They expect that will help them build out their virtual economy and allow content creators to monetize content in more of a 3D world, what they want to be likely their private metaverse. And another aspect of Meta Platforms business is their Quest headsets, right? Their VR headsets. Quest 2 headsets are selling extremely fast, even outpacing the next generation or the new generation of Xboxes. So they just reached nearly 15 million units sold here. And again, the fact that that's selling faster than one of the most popular gaming systems in the world speaks volumes about what not necessarily investors, but consumers think about virtual reality. And there's an interest in it, as you can see. Now, their business arm, Reality Labs, which is more or less their metaverse arm, it's growing, but it's losing money, right? So we've seen the market shift to profitable companies in the recent quarters. So as I expected, Meta Platforms has scaled back a little bit on their resource allocation to Reality Labs, their metaverse arm, because they want to help out their investors. They want to win capital from investors. So more or less, they move to bolster their share price. They want to fund their metaverse arm with operating profits. So sounds like they're working more to build out or dedicate resources to their main business. So I don't necessarily want you to think from that the metaverse is dead, right? But just see that more or less as a move to, strengthen their share price. So I don't think the metaverse is dead, right? We have billions of dollars in investment flooding into these companies, into these ideas. But what about you? What do you think about the metaverse? Do you think it's a gimmick, all smoke and mirrors? Do you think there's some legitimacy there? Are you or yourself using virtual reality technology? Or would you disagree or agree with my definition of the metaverse, more or less translating our physical experiences to a virtual setting? So leave some comments below and we'll address that in a future video. Thanks for watching.